shot a high-budget movie with no budget to convince some of the big studios to give us money. I'm not sure if this is how it works in the biz, but we're trying something. This was shot on 3 very different cameras in an array of different locations with a time crunch of 2.5 days to get it all done. It's either sick or complete garbage, but I think it's sick. We didn't use AI, which meant we had to use this leaf blower to create one of my favorite shots from Inception. This industrial fog gun that I absolutely love and hate, and also gave our cinematographer one of the worst days of his career.
This is the hardest thing you can do. I'm just trying to survive. I'm trying not to kill anyone with my gear.
Okay, and action. I'm planning to shoot a feature film in October. So in 4 months, my game plan is to take this script that Charlie Hamilton wrote and actually go to camera for it. The only issue is it is a very ambitious movie with a wedding scene, military, scientists, strange creatures, and there's actually like a really cool Christopher Nolan twist to it. If anyone reads the script, they're gonna go, you're gonna need millions of dollars. But I'm really hoping that this sizzle that we just shot is a proof that we can do all the complicated things for a very low budget.
I'm feeling very nervous. The first shot of the whole thing, and I'm feeling lots of pressure and very nervous.
I got like the pre-shoot sweats. I think I feel similar too. The second thing was I wanted to use all this footage and create a movie trailer. So within our first location, this was the perfect space to show scale and scope on a budget. And just look how good this shot is. Look at that. Come on. Eat your heart out, JJ. Day one started with Jackie getting like completely covered in fake blood by our makeup artist, Stevie. It's all coming real. And we're making this like poop stew over here. Ew. Let's see. That looks great.
Feels so good. It looks like she's been through the ringer.
Completes your image.
Yay!
Then we drove for 2.5 hours to Ottawa in this place called Carp and went underground by 4 levels deep and shot in this insanely cool nuclear fallout shelter. Nothing boosts a film's production value more than location, and I knew this from the very get-go. So one of my favorite websites to scroll on is Ontario Creates. It's a library of every cool location that's available in Ontario that's uploaded to this database. And while some of them are pretty cool, this one stood out more than ever. This is the Diefenbunker by Diefenbunker. Don't try to wrap your head around it. I obsessed looking at this location, realizing that I had to film in this no matter what. If you're making a movie and you want it to look like Hollywood, reverse engineer your film and set it in all of the coolest locations you have access to. And about 3 days before we went into production, they gave us the green light and we went in there for 5 hours to shoot as much as we possibly could. Now, I hate even sharing about this space because this now feels like my secret weapon, but if you want access to the Diefenbunker bunker, there'll be a link to it in the description below. Also, just stop setting your movies in houses that are from the 2010s onward. Like, shoot it outside, shoot it in a bunker, shoot it in a house from the 60s or 70s, but if it's set now, rewrite your movie or find some cool location. Hey, what's up? We're here at the Diefenbunker.
Is that Ramelan? Oh my god!
You really got beat up, bro.
I know.
So we close to the public at 400. We only have about an hour and a half. I feel like I'm in like a Mr. Beast video.
Let's see, this might be the better start.
It's a real bunker. It's as real as it gets, right?
I believe the word you're looking for.
The C-stands are my worst nightmare.
Oh my god, she's incredible.
This is a cool door.
The reason why we're rushing through here right now is the fact that we have 5 hours on the other floors, but we want to see if there's anything we can shoot
Check this out.
in this space. This turns into an escape room at 4 p.m. Now, because we had such a tight time frame to shoot in this space, me and the DP splintered off. Danny, our cinematographer, went with his crew and started setting up for our other scenes, while I went with Sid and Charlie and a couple other actors and just started shooting these weird B-roll sequences on the camcorder. The one thing I realized about camcorder stuff, even by looking at footage from back rooms, is that it's all shot like a handy cam. I was like, well, what if you modernize that setup by putting a handy cam on a gimbal? Would that look really weird or just look like complete garbage? I wanted to raise the stakes with this too because I thought, well, no one takes a bad camera and puts it in like a Hollywood looking setup. And I thought, well, let's just see what that looks like. And maybe this risk was worth the reward. I don't know. Also, I have not been able to actually convert it properly, so everything that you're seeing right now is actually zoomed in on my viewfinder from my cell phone. I'm getting it converted properly now, but for what you're seeing, it's just from the camera. I think it still looks cool. It gives this like weird filmy effect. After me and Sid got all these cool like scientist style shots in that tight time frame in this one space, we then migrated over to actually shooting our primary coverage, which was more story beats for our sizzle trailer. Sick! Come on! If you have a good location, your cinematographer has an easy job, and so does everyone else. You're actually able to cut so much time out of setup because your production designer doesn't need to dress anything, your cinematographer doesn't have to light as much, versus if you shoot in an ugly location, everyone has so much work to do. So we were really fortunate with every setup we had for this short, whether it was in this underground bunker or in these exterior locations. Everything looked great because we found good locations. So that actually saved our budget.
We're gonna do this really cool surgeon room. What's really dope about this is I really like the colors here. Like I really enjoy this type of blue, kind of gives this really creepy vibe. So what I'm gonna do is, I love drop ceilings. I'm gonna take some tubes and I'm just gonna magnetize up top. It's just one of my favorite things to do because it's so fast, quick, and easy.
Do we need a third hazmat suit person? That's what I was saying. I'm like, maybe if you wanted to be one.
Came here for BTS. Now this guy is killing me.
The big thing I learned from Steven Spielberg is that filling the frame with people is a really good way to build environment and interesting texture. If you have access to friends who could be extras, getting them in wardrobe that correspond with the space. So this one was Amazon. I just went on Amazon, bought 6 of these hazmat suits and filled the frame with it. It looked so amazing. It also helps out your cinematographer and production designer because then they just have people filling the frame versus having to light it differently or dress it differently. Okay, and action. After we filmed in this space, it was actually time to get to the real stuff. And this was following Jackie around in this wedding dress with an assault rifle going through these underground tunnels.
This hallway does so much for us already. We don't have a lot of time and not a lot of resources and not a lot of manpower. So the whole idea is to build with what's given to you. So what we did was we shut off a light. We got the location to shut off one half of the light so I can create some contrast as she walks through this tunnel. I added my own light to add a little flicker effect. So ultimately, what we really just have is one tube light and then one light in the vault room all the way in the back. Keeping it nice and simple, kind of just exposing to what is already given to me and then supplementing from there.
I think a lot of us really focus on all the things we don't have, but the most accessible stuff that we can get on a low budget is things like wardrobe and props. I spent $500 on this film to get really good wardrobe. $200 of that went to Jackie's wedding dresses. I bought 2 wedding dresses for $100 each. One we completely destroyed and the other one we kept nice and clean. Also bought this toy assault rifle, which is like a little BB gun, and all of these hazmat suits and gas masks. Such a lifesaver having these elements. The thing I always play in my head is, could this character have an action figure? And if they can't, then the wardrobe isn't cool enough. We then migrated to our next day, which was this wedding venue scene.
This is the hardest thing you can do, is outdoors and windy weather, so putting up diffusion, anything bigger than a 4x is dangerous, so it's a challenge to say the least.
One of the things we're dealing with right now is there's so much cloud coverage. So with the wind and clouds, we keep getting our lighting changing. So it's really tough for them to expose for it, because in one bit they're in complete darkness, the next bit they're overexposed. So this is the game of shooting exteriors.
One of the big things that we found constantly on this film is that there were so many ideas that we had, whether it was for a shot, for a little production design element, or for makeup. And we were constantly trying to communicate those. And the best tool we had was actually by using stills from other movies in order to articulate that. And with a website like FrameSet, no joke, it was so crucial for us to make something like this, because not only can you take frames from the biggest movies of all time and use those and create decks from that, but you can also use animated videos, like little GIFs that show you the shots from these things with motion applied, which is a huge game changer when you're trying to articulate stuff like a dolly in or a push-pull effect, or perhaps you want this crazy handheld whip around shot. Having tools like this make the creative process effortless, especially when you have a hard time articulating your cinematic vision. A lot of the time I'm always just like, can we get like one of those shots. No one ever understands what I'm saying. So now I have a platform that not only shows the shot in motion, but it also has all of the information about the shot. So have you ever seen like a shot from one of your favorite movies and went, well, what lens did they use? What camera did they use? That's actually all added sort of part of this metadata in the shot, along with other shots that are similar with movement, similar color palettes. And it's not just movies and shows. You can also use music videos and commercials, which I would argue have some of the most beautiful cinematography to reference from. And therefore, you're not just referencing the same Denis Villeneuve movie or No Country for Old Men like everyone else does. You have a library of thousands of pieces of content out there to reference and use. Also, you can take a look at their blog, which I would highly recommend as inspiration. Dylan from FrameSet has done these extensive interviews with some of my favorite filmmakers on the planet. And you can hear him talking to people like Scott Secco about how he shoots these mountain biking videos and how they're constantly reinventing the wheel with cinematography. So if you guys want to take a look at a website that has some of the best information, best shots, and easiest tools to communicate your creativity, go take a look at FrameSet. Highly recommend it. And fingers crossed we end up on there. That'd be sick. Now, getting back into the fun stuff with this shoot, we did our whole wedding stuff, which was a lot of standard coverage, your wide, medium, close-up of everyone talking. Shooting stuff with people, especially that amount of extras, you need to get a ton of coverage, so it burnt a ton of time. But the coolest thing that we ended up doing for this bit was I wanted a Christopher Nolan Inception explosion bit. You know that scene where they're at the cafe? And I was like, okay, well, what happens if you just took a 1200 and you blasted someone with it so it kind of overexposed? You took a leaf blower and blew them with it, and then you threw debris at them. And this would be all for my fiance, Jackie, to experience. We shot it at 120 frames per second. Danny jiggled the camera, and I think the shot looked pretty dang cool. I'm watching with a camera lens combo. We shot on the Blackmagic Pixis 6K. A friend of ours, Thomas, supplied us with that camera. And then the Blazar anamorphic Remus lenses. That combo absolutely blew me away. These Remus lenses read so well. The foreground obviously being nice and sharp, but with that very like poetic. What I love about anamorphics is it has this melted painting effect where the foreground looks like a beautiful like Rembrandt, and then the background just kind of has this like melted wax look in the back. I don't know how to explain. I really thought the Ronin 4D was going to be my favorite because of its flexibility and ability for everything it was able to capture, but I'm sure you can already tell it was the Blackmagic Pixis with the open gate anamorphic. It looked incredible, and I know Danny might have his own sort of qualms with this camera. There's something with a touch screen where he was always accidentally touching it, but as far as a director with a vision, that camera crushed it. But my game plan is actually to make a feature film on a budget of $250,000 Canadian, which is not a lot of money. So I want a third of the Obsession budget to go make this movie, but I'll go make it for even less. And I wanted to prove that we could do it on a low budget by kind of illustrating all of the high budget things that we would do in the feature in the span of 3 days for a budget of $3,000. Now, what ended up happening is that budget ended up ballooning to about $6,000 in total. And here's where that money went. Food just always costs more money than you anticipate. So getting people breakfast and lunch and dinner, I think it ended up costing us $1,500. We had this. The other thing that cost money was our Diefenbunker location, Amazon order list or props that we got from our production designer, or makeup for our makeup artist. Now, everyone else came out for favors. Everything from lenses to this incredible gear truck was supplied by fellow filmmakers. I do have to give a shout out to my buddy Brady, who's a local filmmaker who supplied us with his gear truck from his production company. We could not have done it without you. But outside of that, everyone did this for pennies. And I'm not saying, go make a movie where you don't pay anybody, but then you remember them for either when you get funding to do that feature, or you bring them on for a commercial shoot that you're getting budget on. I also realized people just want to do cool shit. We're all stuck doing corporate videos or vertical things for a company, which, doesn't fill the creative fuel tank. Now, like I said before, there is going to be so much more about this movie and all the things that we used, from the camera, the lens setup, this Artem fogger that I'm obsessed with and absolutely hate. Thank you guys so much for watching. I absolutely love you. And go take a look at FrameSet. Honestly, super duper handy platform. I'll see you in another video.